Welcome to the DMV's Vibe podcast. I'm Miss Pink.
And I'm Phyllis Swagger.
And today we have a special guest with us, J.S. Russell. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Yes, we are back this week. We know we took a little minute off. As y'all know, Phyllis had a birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you. Big scorp.
She had a birthday. We went out Friday and celebrated Damo. He performed. It was really nice. I do like Black Cow.
However, comma.
Yeah. Y'all didn't utilize that space right the other night, but it's okay.
Give me my $28 back for that week what I had? Strawberry margarita week.
I mean, I was fine with my tequila and cranberry, but needless to say, it was a really nice showcase. Everyone sang it down.
Yes.
To be honest, everyone sang it down. It was nice energy in there. I actually hope that they do have something else, just utilize the space better. But I didn't realize that it was situated where it was. I thought it was somewhere else.
Nope, it was Black Cow.
But to get into our topic today, if y'all watched the promo video, I said I described your journey as finding passion in your purpose after prison time is how I defined it. But if you could give us just an intro to a background of your story.
Background as far as what the prison, the before prison,
who you are,
yeah, who you are before that, because prison didn't define you.
Yeah, so definitely doesn't. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you it really helps as far as when you in that, because you isolated, but you're around a bunch of people, so you got to figure out who you are anyway. So I mean, any writer off. I mean, obviously, because even when I was in the county, and I really had to analyze what's what. It's like, Slim, you facing all of this time. If you was to beat this trial, what you gonna do, right? And I had made the decision not to go back to crime, and I had me a little bit of money. I was living good, a little bit of money, and it was like, still, you here now, and don't none of that matter because you ain't got enough for this lawyer. You ain't got enough to survive all of this. Like, so that's out of the question. It's like, look, what you gonna do? So, I mean, so I'm obviously a critical thinker, writer, and then being out this area is just trying to figure out the best way to navigate things. So I decided to write. And that's my thing. That's why I always say I wrote my freedom, because it was writing freedom before I even obtained my freedom. So that was one of the things. And because, I mean, I was an entrepreneur, it was, if it ain't going to be narcotics, it's going to be this. And whether it is written word in the form of books, ebooks, whatever, or me just storytelling, poetry, whatever, that's what I was going to choose, and that's what I was going to do, as well as teach, because that was the other thing. I seen there was so much where people lacked. They either lacked the understanding, as well as myself, because before, obviously, I lacked some understanding. That's why I was doing the wrong stuff. And so it was like, man, if there's a lot of people like me, now let's figure out how we can educate the men so that everybody could get on track. But did that answer your question?
It did.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
How much what else you need to know?
So, like, are you from the DMV area?
Y'all can't tell.
Yeah, like, so
that accent.
This how this go. Like, I can say I lived in DMV, right? That's how this go. Grandma's house is on Georgia Avenue. That's where I was born. So I've been up there. Then we moved out to Chillum. End up out Dale City with my uncle for about a year. He was helping out. You know what I'm saying? Ended out Riverdale. You know what I'm saying? With my aunt for a second. Then from there was out Laurel, and you know, that's where everything happened. It kind of took me out from society for a second, but I was even down A&T for a second when I did 2 semesters. So yeah, definitely here. Yeah, like that's walking distance from Howard. I go down, used to go Georgia Avenue
I
Day,
work off Georgia
all of
Avenue.
that, Caribbean Day, Georgia Avenue Day, all of that stuff,
I
so
miss them days.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they moved it up to Baltimore now.
yeah. Ain't that something?
Nobody's going to that.
Yeah, so what is it about writing that really made you like tap into that field? Because there's so many other things that you could have chosen.
I mean, when you stripped everything, it ain't too much that you can do. So that was what I was actually left with, what I could actually work on. And I had been writing before, like, a lot of people write raps when they was younger, whatever. But, counting bars and all that other stuff was something that was just like, all right, whatever. I ain't got no beats. We ain't doing none of that. Turned to the poetic side of it and did that for a long time. And I had lost so much when I got incarcerated, and it was just like I ain't want to lose it no more. So that's why I went into learning how to publish. But with that, I figured, like I said, the entrepreneurial side is like, well, let me figure out how I can market this, and I can build on this and pivot to something else. So it, and I felt like I was good at it. So if I feel like that's my talent, I'm gonna capitalize.
So, were you into poetry prior to writing while you were away?
Absolutely. I was president of the poetry club in high school. I went to Northwestern. That's where I
That is
graduated
so
from.
unfortunate.
Yeah. It's haters everywhere. But so then
Park that
I
all day.
also was even when I was down A&T for that, I was with this group called Couture, where we would, act out, certain little skits and stuff like that and do my poetry. So it was like I knew I was good with that, you know.
What made you want to start your publishing company? Because you could have just relied on someone else to publish your own material. So, what made you want to start your own company?
That's not easy to do. People can't just get published. Like
You know?
there's so much that comes with trying to um submit your stuff, submit what they want or whatever it is that those publishing companies is this. And so like I always look to people like on the music side, like a Master P that did stuff independently, different things. Like if y'all not gonna mess with me, guess what? I'm gonna just go ahead and do it myself. And right now, which is so great about this time, is there's so much that we can do ourselves. So a good man by the name of Sean Gardner, which I was incarcerated with, had a self-publishing class in RCI, which is Roxbury Correctional Institution. And I was looking for prior to that, but then he was giving game because he had already done it. So took the class and then start doing it because um I don't like depending on people,
Mm.
you know. I'm like I gotta create my own way, and regardless of what type of time it take, if I stay persistent and consistent, it's gonna do what it need to do.
Can you talk a little bit about the books that you have written? And if y'all can't see here in the middle, we do have a book up. Can you tell us the process of getting through the first book?
Well, after a while, because that was my therapy, right? Writing. Um Later on, I came to learn that they got this term called therapeutic journaling. So I used to in the county jail, I used to buy dudes compositions books that was on the education joint. So I used that to write. A lady had came in and gave me this joint called The Artist's Way also, which came with these assignments called morning pages where you write three pages a day. So it was like writing, 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 writing. And after a while, when I came into the state system, I got a collection and stuff. And it's like I might as well do something with it because I tried to take all of this stuff and um, send it to publishers, but there's requirements like it got to be clean, it got to be this, it got to be that. I'm working off a typewriter. I'm trying to get my mother to copy it and stuff like that, which things that's probably didn't look presentable. Oh well, so my whole thing was, all right, I'm gonna bust this down into, because at that time I might have had over 100 poems. I said I'm gonna bust this down into various volumes. I also did a children's book for my daughter to connect with her, and it was like, all right, let me treat these like guys treat mixtapes or albums or something like that. I'm gonna put a certain amount, because who wants to read 100 poems? Nobody, for real. You know what I'm saying? If they even reading one, but the thing that I understood is the way that I wrote and stuff like that is short enough that it stick with the attention span of, average person is going to, because a lot of people not reading if you interested,
Trust me,
and
I
then
know. ELA
yeah,
teacher here.
and then put it in a way to where it's like, okay, that was cool, you know. So that's my whole process with that.
What was your, I don't want to say what was your favorite, but which poem or book sticks out to you the most still after you publish it?
Solid minds.
Hmm.
I do a lot of this stuff because I've been around all these everyone but the one in Virginia in Shirlington. I've hit all these bus boys. That was one of my missions that I had set out to do, and then different open mics. And I always do most of my work out of live from the pen too. So that's the one that is a lot of my later work, and a lot of the stuff where I felt like I expressed my pain and my struggle a lot. So it hit a little bit different.
Was it for you? Was it easy to be vulnerable in paper than it was to talk to someone face to face?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't gotta worry about nothing on the bed. That's why I always suggest to anybody, if they wanna as far as when it comes to therapy, like the journaling is something that's cool, because one, you ain't gotta worry about judgment, you ain't gotta worry about feedback. You know what I'm saying? If you want feedback, you can talk to somebody, but then you taking the risk of maybe not hearing something that's gonna be, you know, helpful, or that you want to at the time. And often what I found with what I wrote, I end up coming to my own revelations or conclusions or answers to whatever problems that I may have had. And that was one of the things that I always found that was magical. So I just write, like, and it ain't necessarily have to be a poem, and to be just me free writing, you know.
We've had shows where we talked about how important mental health awareness is, and that's one of our, I would say, one of our mantras that we talk
Yeah.
about every single show, and more importantly, about men's mental health. Um, we've done shows on it every year. We never miss a year, and I think it was really great for us to have so many people on who were open to talking about mental
Black
health.
men that have been to therapy and encouraging other black men to go to therapy.
Or any form of therapy, and understanding that I watched a clip on social media where a man said, I lost 20 years of my freedom for a 5-second decision. And hearing how he broke it down, how do you think mental health and incarceration, how big of an impact would it be to have a program in the prison system that actually helps with mental health?
Well, it exists. It's just that it's not popular.
Mm.
Like you still got to get past stigmas. Like, one, first of all, I feel like prison was a mental institution, mental institution, excuse me, because you had people that weren't necessarily or don't know, coming from whatever their past traumas was, and people deal with a lot of trauma. Life is just, it's going to present you with some stuff, with unresolved issues. Then there's other things in which people don't explore or know about, but there's been a stigma, especially with our community, is like, okay, something wrong with you if you're going and seeking out
Mhm.
therapy, where, yeah, everything's something wrong with every one of us. Like, there's no normal, like, and this has always been my theory. I say, man, everybody crazy. everybody, because I've been around and without having these terms that I'm learning, safe space or somebody to talk to, or time to work on yourself. You dealing with the energy from various individuals and you trying to figure out like what's happening, but you just had all of these interactions, a different energy that you done took on, and then it's like you don't have no relief. So being in a spot where each tier may house anywhere from 86 to 96 people where I'm at,
Good Lord.
right? And you dealing with that, you dealing with the CEOs that come in and out, you dealing with whoever else you might deal with, whether it be the kitchen, infirmary, whatever these places are, people coming in and they dealing with their own joints. So it's a whole lot of energy and stuff like that you're dealing with, and people with undiagnosed issues or on medication or self-medicating or whatever it is. And like I said, if people then came from any type of impoverished parts, there's probably a whole lot of trauma, unresolved stuff that people may not want to talk about, stuff that went on in their household that, what I'm saying, may seem normal, but is not necessarily, acceptable, but so when you talking about compounding all of this stuff and everybody's dealing with this energy and you in some place that you don't want to be and you being oppressed and so yeah, you need that, and for a person to like because they worried about what somebody think or whatever like that. And also you gotta think if you coming from streets is you ain't supposed to be talking. So you
Mm.
gotta start analyzing, hold on, what can I talk about and what can I not talk about and what is confidential and what's not confidential, and deal with all of this stuff. So that is a tough place to be and navigate while you in there, you know. So I think also for people to ask for help, they don't want to appear weak.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take on all of this stuff in the place where you less likely to get it. I sort it out. That's why I'm like, man, I'm an advocate for it. And I spoke to people, but they just like that. But still, a lot of places is understaffed. They can't take on all of that. I was actually a SNU mentor, which SNU is the special needs unit. So I was a mentor to some of those guys that really, really had problems. So when the people that's in the institution that's dealing with psych, um, overwhelmed by that, they can't really deal with the rest of the population that may not have, what I'm saying,
More,
is urgent issues
yeah,
or in
less
crisis
severe
or
to them.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes something you're gonna get pushed off and pushed off or whatever. So that's the whole thing. Now out in society, I'm still transitioning and figuring out. Like I had, because I came through reentry, they made it an obligation, and then even after it was an obligation, I made sure it was straight because it, with the various levels of freedom that I was experiencing, it was levels of anxiety and trying to figure out what to do because I ain't want to get caught up or violate or be put in a situation where I had to be sent back. So yeah, it comes with a high level of awareness though, which everybody not gonna have.
Mhm. And I think anytime you do an extensive amount of time, it can mess with your mental. And you see a lot of people will end up right back in within their first year because
Mm-hmm.
that transition out. What programs are in place to help specifically just with your transition and back into society?
Well, they have like me coming through that reentry, they pretty much put certain things around us. But there's other stuff like Metalworks has a reentry navigation. There's other people that's around, even if it's not something that you need constantly. Sometimes you just need somebody to understand it, to give you like, look, I done been through this. This is what's happening. And that's something that has to be built up more in PG County, right? DC got a lot of resources, credible messages, all this other stuff.
They
That's more
just
so
don't
towards
use
the
them.
youth, but they also have
Mm-hmm.
community support workers and stuff like that. And you have to be aware of this stuff. People don't. Not everybody is aware of what's available, and that's another thing that people have to be educated on. Like people got to really do the outreach, and all of this stuff is new to me. coming up because my former life I wasn't in tune with none of this. So I'm coming back out here learning certain things just by doing the work myself.
So I do know that you're also a community developer for PG County Health Department, and you're mentoring youth. What does that look like for you? What does that program consist of? With working with the youth?
So I'm employed with Bridges to Success under PG County Health Department Behavioral Health, and we get the youth referred to us by Department of Juvenile Services. Um, so basically, depending on what DJS need us to do with them, victim awareness, anger management, mentoring, education, job readiness, life skills. Once we know whatever the referral is, then I know how to go about it. And this was a job that was kind of perfect for me because I was inside co-facilitating youth challenge programs for years. So it was like I already know how to do all of this. Like I've been doing it for free. Now I get paid for it. And so I basically start implementing my program. I tell youth come up with goals, get direction with that, definitely leverage AI, come up with a plan. And now it's time to execute. Because if they got direction and they got something that they trying to do, then it takes them away from stuff that, you know what I'm saying, when you don't have
Idle
nothing to
time.
do. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying, get with the BS. So that's my whole thing is to give them direction and give them something that I feel like would have helped myself along the way, because whether it's the youth, those incarcerated, or those returning citizens, I'm dealing with me on every stage. So it was like, what would help me? What would have, so that's what I do.
That's another thing that we've also discussed previously on the show was about how underfunded some of the programs are for youth throughout our county and Prince George's County, and how sometimes it's hard to relate to youth because they're kind of closed off in a lot of ways, and trying to find good role models for them in communities where it's someone that looks like them, that can understand them, and be able to guide them in a positive way. So I definitely commend you for having that job. Um, it's kind of hard to hear in the news like how many youth are really like it's like they're literally just throwing their life away.
They don't care about anything, but it's hard because they don't have the proper influences around them. Like for me, it's kind of gotten to the point, and this is just from a teacher standpoint, where if I kind of know background about the parent and I know it's the type of parent that's not doing what they're supposed to do, their child is their friend, whatever case may be. Like for me, it's like, what can I do as a teacher when you don't even listen to your parent? Or your parent is don't call me the fuck they with you, like this is what I'm getting literally,
And
y'all,
it be that, it
this
be
is
that.
how it is. Like what are mentors and what are teachers, like what are we supposed to do, because they don't even have that respect for their parent. So they're not going to have respect for anybody else that's trying to guide them, because these kids really don't care.
I just say set a standard, be an example, and pour what you can. Cause like I've been to people's house. I remember one young man in particular, the mother, grandmother. They like, well, y'all not making him. He ain't going to school. Y'all ain't doing such and such. And I'm thinking like, he with you more than he with me.
Right.
Like it's
He
not the
live with
state
you.
obligation or the county obligation
Mhm.
for you to parent. Like whatever happened, and I'm having one on one, so I'm understanding it. Oh, it's some problem with y'all,
Right.
and y'all never resolve it, and so it's like there's a whole nother dynamic where it could just be like, look, a lot of times I don't deal with the parents. I deal strictly with the youth that I'm dealing with. It'd be like, look, this is what you do. And I just give them love because the fact of the matter is like, and I think sometimes parents may get it messed up. Like, they're not with you all the time. They're with you for whatever time that they may be home that you set apart that time, and you say you parenting, you providing, but Yeah, school, with friends, with all this other stuff, all this other time. You don't know what they picking up.
Mm.
But the best thing is they be like, look, in these situations, this is what you have. And it's either they gonna rely on it or not. Because I can't make nobody do anything. I could just give you the information.
Right.
So that's the way, that's my approach to that. Cause it's like they not your kids.
Yep, that's where I'm at now.
You know, they
This
ain't,
is
you know.
funding my lifestyle. That's what I tell myself
And
every
that's how
day.
it go. It's like we do a job, we do the job the best that we can, and at the same time, we got our own stuff.
Mhm.
Like I'm with where I'm at, but I'm like, man, I'm worth more than this. I need some more money, so it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Not that I don't love what I'm doing as far as with the kids, but it's like if it's my time to go and I find another opportunity, somebody else gonna have to figure out how to do this.
But a lot of mental health workers and behavioral support workers do not get paid enough for the work that they do. Because I think people really don't understand what it's like to deal with people that have mental health issues out in the community, in the school, like whatever. Like that is hard work. It's hard work. That's why I still got my therapist. Never let that go. Mental distress, FMLA.
Hey, look, and that be another thing. I was having a conversation because they got me in the county as a limited term grant funded employee. I said, "Is you playing for real?" So I don't got holidays. I don't got the other stuff that other people have. I don't got the help. I said, look, all right, I got something for y'all asses. How about that? You know, I'm like this. You want to take care of your workers to make sure that they happy and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So you able to take mental days for anybody that don't know what FMLA and stuff like that is. It's like, why? What make you think I wouldn't need something like that? And you not
Because they
providing
don't
it
think
from me,
about that.
and I work for the health department.
They don't think about that
It's,
because they not the ones that's out here in the trenches no more. Like, when you
it's
not in the trenches, you can be like, oh, you don't, we're not gonna give you this, we're not gonna give you that, but you're not out here. You're not seeing what we see on a day to
The
day
people who are not
basis.
on the front lines, who are making decisions for people who are on the front lines, I'll always be against that. Because from some people in some agencies, they do start at that level where you experienced that and nothing made you, or you didn't take nothing from when you was in this position to be like, you know what, I want to
Yeah, they
add
get in
this,
a position,
change this.
they get amnesia.
yeah, I
Because
think
if
that's it.
somebody is in a position to make that change, it's just that they don't care. And it's really sad because it's like, are you here for the job, as in the money, or are you here to actually help the community? That's what it comes down to. What do you think their biggest challenge is in reference to the work that you do and your biggest reward?
What you're talking about, the agencies or the young people with
I would say working with you.
um really been given the information because all right, so when I go about and first I do an intake with them, but then I always give them assignment of the goals. And generally, it's like, all right, you had these goals, and some people like, I ain't got no goals, which I'm like, BS. You know what I'm saying? You want some money, right? You want to drive? Okay, so you gotta get your learner's license. You gotta get, resume, all this other stuff. So once I'm like, do you know the resources that's in your school? And I do that because when I was in high school, I thought the guidance counselor was for when you got in trouble. That's the only time I remember saying, you know.
Mm.
So I'm like, all right, do you know who your guidance counselor? Do you know what these resources is? Hold these people accountable. They supposed to be doing the job to help you. So if you have a career center that's in there, or you have some other thing, whatever that they trying to do, if you try and go to college, like really start talking to these people. And I say you have to build up your network. You have to start building a relationship with folks, and that's going to be what's going to be key. And I try to give them that now because you don't have to be a great student to learn how to navigate the stuff and be great. So I give them that because they not giving it. It may be stuff, and I think a lot of times I don't care what level you are. You go through orientation, it's a bombardment of a whole lot of information that you real don't even know how to deal with the stuff just in that short period of time. So if nobody is really giving you a follow up to tell you this how you utilize the stuff, it may be some stuff you miss. So I give them that. It's like, look, this what you want to do? Because once I know what they want to do, I know how I can help them and, direct them in, to whatever resources and stuff that they might need.
Um, as far as, I'm sorry, um, when it comes to working with youth, one of the things from my experience, because I work with them in the school system in Prince George's County as well as Parks and Recreation, I learned that a lot of you don't know how to effectively express themselves, and they only know a limited amount of emotions, and most of them is anger,
Mm-hmm.
um, and how they don't know how to relay that to their parent because of how their parents react.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you think is something that we could possibly implement to be able to help you in that way so that it may be a better conversation to help them break down um, processing emotions because that goes into decision making?
So I think uh, parent-child relationships gonna always be different. So if they could have somebody else in which they talk to, I'm always encouraging that if they have somebody that's gonna be comfortable with them. Um, and then I look at it like we just experienced not too long ago going through COVID when everything was locked down. So if people locked down, who was they able to deal with, and how was it now? The technology is different now, in which they dealing with everything over the phone or using this technology. Then it's a bombardment of whatever they looking at TikTok, Instagram. They're telling them this is what it is, and so you having all of this other stuff that's influencing. And I don't know how much, but I can imagine that it's very impactful. So it's like, how does a person deal with that, especially when you're not mature enough to really know? So it's just it slight check-ins if there is a way to where they feel comfortable talking. Cause I one of the things I like is a lady she a caseworker Tracy Hardy that's at Coolidge, and I go with her with she has her Young Kings of Purpose. She has a caseload. They speak. It's a space in which she'll pretty much navigate that with the young men. They'll be able to speak. But for the rest of them, if they don't really feel that because it may be judgment or whatever, it's like, how do you create a space for that? So I'm always encouraging and for them to have those things. And this stuff that's available, we just don't know enough of it. And if parents are busy trying to provide, sometimes it may not be enough time to figure out this other stuff. Or if they don't know about it, sending them off, and it may be various things, whether it be trust issues, whether it be whatever, they can be. So it's just a lot trying to navigate stuff in the unknown spot because you're a parent,
No, I'm a
you're a
teacher.
parent, neither one of.
Mm-mm.
So I'm a father, but I never got a here's your father manual. This is how this goes because nobody knows how their child gonna be. I came home and my relationship with my daughter is just like crazy, and I thought that I was building that while I was in. So it's like, can't nobody tell you how to do this. You can just do the best that you can. And then even with I feel like some of the people that I've mentored, I might have a better relationship with my own. So it's just like, who can tell that? It's crazy. So all that we can do is our best, and we just do it. So that whole thing, as far as them being able to do with that, it also depends on how receptive they are. Because when I may say something to them when they want to go that route, then they will. But some of them, they not, and they young. They not gonna know no better. Just hopefully, when I say something, it'll resonate and they'll remember it sometime. To know to do it, and that's all.
With going to in different spaces and dealing with youth, what do you see happening in building a community that kind of gives you hope for the youth to come?
I mean, I just feel like we resilient, so it don't even matter. Like we already have, and when I say we, I'm talking about us as black people. You know what I'm saying? Like it it just we survivors will figure it out. And then my whole push is for people to be more independent, more entrepreneurial, more self-reliant, because you see what's happening lately with the government. You see what's happening with so much where people have thought that they were good, and I've really experienced people to just they like, I don't know what to do now. And it's just like you got all this experience, figure it out, but everybody doesn't know how to create or to do stuff it because it
Critical
hasn't been
thinking.
something that they
That's
practice. And
what's
so it's like
knocking.
we gonna be all right, because it's gonna be another wave of people that's like, look, we gonna create this. It already is. That's a lot of the stuff that I watch on YouTube or whatever it is. It's people that's creating and making a way. So when the youth start really saying this, they gonna understand too. Like,
I think the next generation will be all right.
yeah,
We at the
like,
end of Gen Z. That's
and this how this
very
go,
end.
right? I'm gonna say this, right? Like people will talk about the you crazy. Like, no, you just see it more. We ain't have all of that when we was young. We was nuts too. Like you ain't gonna tell me
It just
because
wasn't
we had we
Yeah,
had
but hold on. This is different. Hold on,
we
hold
had
on. This is a
so
different breed.
but
Though.
yeah, that's because everything that's available, technology and everything that goes on. So all right,
Mm-mm.
this is
I feel
the
like
analogy that I use, right?
I feel like it was some people in our generation who they didn't process things correctly and they
But I
passed
just
that on
feel
to their
like
children.
this
So
group different.
this how I use it. I look at it like this, right? I remember the impressions that my older brother, cousins, and stuff made on me about this is how you supposed to do this on the street stuff. And I may or may not have excelled and passed some of that, you know? Same thing with these youngers. They going crazy. They doing more than what,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
because they
saying?
OGs is doing the
So
same thing they doing.
so then it's the same thing on the good side though. Think about it for those that are doing the right thing. They excelling. It's just a matter of what you are exposing them to. The next generation is supposed to do better.
Well, they
So they
doing
might
better
be
than
doing
Gen
better at
Z.
the wrong thing or doing better at the
You
right
know
thing.
what? I didn't
And
look at it that
that's
way.
look, that's why I say it, because I'm gonna use this example. Y'all
6'7".
anybody follow basketball?
Mhm.
I don't follow like I used to.
All right, but you know who Reggie Miller is, right?
Yes.
Was one of the best 3 pointers. Then you had a Ray Allen. Now you got a
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry. So on the positive side, you got that. Now you have on the technology side, you've had a Steve Jobs, whatever like that. But then you got what's the dude that got Meta, stuff like that. It goes like that in the other side too. And there's other people that can
Mm-hmm.
excel. LeBron has done
But I
great
don't know if
business
Meta
wise.
and them is in a positive light because they back the corpse that's
Well,
running
I'm saying
America.
LeBron.
So
Let's take LeBron. As far as him being a younger guy, because shoot, I think what he about my age or something. But not
he ain't
only
my
is a
age.
billionaire, you know what I'm saying? Listen, a billionaire that's still in the league and didn't and accomplished that while he was there and doing some other. So it's an example to which you can show how somebody else example. And now, of course, that's one person. But I'm just using that as an example of, because the people before him, they ain't get paid like that. They didn't know business
Oh,
like that.
it's
They
some good
didn't
ones in this
put their
generation.
put
It
their
is.
team. So yeah, so it's just a matter of my whole thing is I want to expose everybody to it. Once you expose them to this is what you can do, then it becomes something that's common. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, if he doing it,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
because it
saying?
seems
Then I
like
can do it.
being dumb is
And then
cool.
it's because this is something that I feel like. And this how I know I'm old. I ain't even listening to rap like that no more. I be
Like
like,
I
and I'm like, hold on. I said, they saying what? They doing what?
being
And
dumb
it
is
just be like,
cool.
hold
Like
on.
we clowned you if you were dumb in school. We clowned you if you got
It
bad
was that,
grades.
but then people don't want to be by themselves.
You know, I literally asked. my kids they were in 7th grade when I asked them. And I asked them, I was like, what is this with y'all always having to have people with you? I said, why is it that y'all don't go on field trips? Oh, let me see if you going. You going? I said, why y'all can't just go do stuff by yourself? I was like, y'all are literally codependent. They are so codependent on people. And I was like, I never wanted to be included all the time. I didn't want to be a part of everybody's group. I was like, but y'all always got to be a part of something. Why?
I was so used to being online, I didn't care.
Ain't that the social media though? Just now,
But
because
I've had that
we
conversation
didn't
when I
grow up
taught
on
high
that.
schoolers, and that was in 2018. And I asked them, I said, "What? Why do y'all be so geek for likes and follows?" Because we was having this conversation, and the
Validation.
kids was trying to clown me because they asked me how many followers I had, and they was like, "Oh, you don't got a lot of followers." And I was like, "But I don't care though." I was like,
Yeah.
social media means nothing to me." And I was like, "Y'all so pressed for hearts and likes or whatever." And like you said, validation. And so I preach to the kids now, like, I need y'all to validate yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's seeking validation from people that don't even like them. And then a lot of times people can live a facade on social media, and it's just like these kids are so misguided.
So
And they
that's
don't
the whole.
believe it.
They don't
They
believe.
don't
That's
believe
when
it.
they gotta be like, what's real and what's not. Like, what is your reality? What's your reality? So if you living in the phone, then that's your reality. But if you living
I
in the
told them
world,
they
that's what it
have
is.
drug
It's just
addict
like,
behavior when it comes to these phones. Because
yeah.
my school, we collect the phones, and so we have a late ban. And so if you are late to school, you're getting your phone last. But so I run the phones or whatever. So we had the kids that came on time, they get their phone late ban. Oh, I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna take my time. You was late. Then they want to act a fool. Oh, you're yelling at me? I'm even gonna take even longer. You know what? You'll go last, and I'll literally be in the bin like this. And so Friday they pissed me off because the phone bin, I know it weighed about 10 pounds. And I said, listen, y'all. I said it's the same group that come in here. Y'all come in here late every single day. I said, if you have a job, you can't do this.
That's one of them things that I talk to
I was
them
like, you
about.
can't do this. I said, you can't come to work late 5 days in a row. You won't get fired. And then everybody, well, I'll just get another job. And I'm like,
It
and
ain't that
that's the
simple.
problem. And it's not that simple.
Because they
But
ain't living in the real world
like
yet.
they don't want to hear nothing. Because I always tie everything to real world situations.
So that's the thing that blows my mind. I have a caseload, and it might be some young people, they at school, but they not in class. And I'm like, why are you coming to school?
I say
Not
this
that I'm
all the
trying to
time.
suggest that they not come to school, but it's just
You
like,
couldn't have told
what's
me
the
that in high
point?
school.
What's
Why
the
come
point?
to school to
Because
skip
I'm like,
and walk around the
yeah,
building?
because I'm like, if
Yeah,
I
I'm
wasn't,
not
I
finna stay in
just
the
wasn't
building.
gonna go. Like,
Right?
I'm not
so
going or I'm going home.
yeah, like that
This
didn't make sense to me
this
because it's like, hold
generation is
on, you
so
here
different.
for, but oh, this is where everybody at, and I'm like,
Everybody.
so
Ain't no money here.
yeah, like like these, like, hold on,
So you just want to hang
like
out.
none of your peers are going to be able to help you get to where you need. Like they don't know nothing no more than what you know, but they don't understand that, and it's not is just not something that clicks. And then sometimes I have to wonder, I'm like, all right, so what's going on home? It got to be
Mhm.
something else, because if you decided I'd rather be here not doing nothing than being there not doing nothing, there got to be some other stuff, or the meal in it. And then that's when a lot of other things come into play. It's like we don't know. We don't know all of everything. And the more you get to know, it's like the best equipment, the best to navigate it. But they do, it's different.
Yeah.
And I just have to accept that. Like this ain't my generation, this y'all, this is how y'all do. But guess
Mhm.
what? When you go about this, because I asked them, how old are you? I said, guess what? You only got so many years. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
the other stuff gonna have to come into play. Like you gonna have to get a job, you got your license, you ain't like people ain't what you want, live with your mother the whole time or live with whoever. What you got on
I'm
you?
trying not. I'm
I'm
trying
trying
not
to
to
it's
lose it.
coming
I'm
down.
trying
Oh,
not to lose it.
Oh man.
As long as it don't end up back on me, Lord. I'm sorry.
But nah, that's the reality. And then that's the thing I I'm concerned about, but it's one of them things that I have to see with time. It's like if you're not taking this serious right now, how is it going to be when reality hit? When it's not
Life will deal
this?
with them. Natural
Yeah,
selection.
exactly. And it's just like, all right.
But also, I mean, in the school system, we can't fail nobody. So that's why
And that's
you.
some
That's
bullshit.
what.
I feel
That's why
like,
you're seeing
and
what you're
that's why you
saying.
That
see,
no
because
child was left
the No
behind
Child
was
Left
some
Behind messed
bullshit.
stuff
It's
up.
leaving the children
The
behind.
everybody is a winner. Nah, bullshit. Like, because I think that comes with there's no need to compete then. I'm going to be all right. The stuff is going to take care of me.
But you're
Somebody is going to be all right. And I'm just like, it's so
no.
enabling. It's so enabling. I'm like,
I
yeah,
had
man.
a discussion with somebody about participation awards, and they told me because I didn't have a kid, I should mind my business.
Mm,
But I still feel how I feel when it comes to organized sports and games. Like giving participation awards can set them, for me and my side, can set them up for failure going forward. Like, because you have an expectation now that every time you do something, you're going to be
Which
rewarded.
is irritating because you see this in the classroom. I did a worksheet. Congratulations. Go do the other one. No, but can I get candy? Can I get snacks? Like they seek this instant gratification and you always have to, oh, good job. Oh, you're doing great. I'm not about to keep doing that because in the
hell
real
no.
world, I'm gonna tell y'all this as a special education teacher, this is real life. Like all of the IEPs that we do, when they turn 18 they go out in the real world, it's not even gonna matter.
This is not.
It's not gonna matter. That's why I wish we would revamp how we write IEPs and how we do these things because nobody is gonna care that you had an IEP in 12th grade.
But how do you teach people like
I had to learn what
rejection? I think you
IEP
have to.
was. I come back to society. Like, even while I was on the phone when they talk about my daughter, like, I'm just like, what is that? Are you talking about special ed? Or you talking about, like, what is that? Then they try to change the language, and
It's
I'm just like,
levels to it because
and it's
everybody
all of
hears
this.
IEP and they go
But then
crazy.
when you start catering to these little, it'd be like, to me, I'd be like, you just creating a whole bunch of soft ass human beings because you gotta figure it out. Like, this is what the world
No,
is
they
gonna be. That's what
literally
you're
they
saying,
can't take
right?
rejection. They
When
can't.
you and it's just like, all right, so what you gonna do when you're not in this environment?
That I really be asking. Now I teach middle school and I be asking them these questions like, what are you gonna do when you have to get a real job?
They don't grasp
And I'm
it.
just like, one boy was like, well, I'm just gonna work at McDonald's. I said, so you gonna drop out work at McDonald's? He's like, yeah. I said, so then somebody else was like, no, but McDonald's has great opportunities.
Listen,
And so I was like,
it's people in
but
Detroit that just saying shit like that to me. I'm just like, what?
but
What's
if you
the
don't have a high school diploma, you're never gonna go beyond food. So even if McDonald's did have those opportunities, you don't have the education to be a manager. So you would be stuck.
This is another part, right? So I got a workbook called Turning Adversity into Advantage for a Point of Change. I deal with this, and I'm in Upper Marlboro doing this on Monday night. And part of that came from some stuff, me vibing with another dude inside on building stuff. But in them youth challenge, like, yeah, I just work any job. And it's like, hold on, that's how this goes, right? Because unfortunately a lot of dudes have came in young. They didn't really have real life responsibilities, paying for insurance, car note, rent, mortgage, with any of this type of stuff. So I'm just like, all right, if you saying that that's the salary, let's bust it down. Where you gonna live at? Because the
That's what I
cost of living
mm-hmm.
out Baltimore different from out here, right? Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
living here? All right, this how much rent typically is. All right, this how much it's gonna cost for gas. You got a car, or you don't got a car. You got this how much this is gonna cost. Da 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 da. Then run down all the real life experiences. I mean expenses. And it's like, all right, now will that salary provide for that? Now what you saying? Because even guys are like, man, I'm gonna just go back to school. I'm like, all right, but then what? School ain't gonna pay for. And then if you don't know nothing about how to use a student loan to actually help with certain stuff that you've never done before, what are you saying? So something that God gave to me a long time ago, and I always talk about it: the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you ain't prepared for this, if you haven't been preparing for this, guess what's gonna happen to your bad ass? You know. and that's just where it go.
Um, do you think being vulnerable, especially for men, is considered a weakness?
Depends. Depends on who you've been involved in. Depends on how somebody view it. Like I stopped giving a f about what people thought a long time ago because I was trying to get my freedom, and there was nobody that was around me that can help me with my freedom. So I ain't care about what they thought. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that. And even like today, it's one of those things that I'm seeking something. If you can't help me with obtaining my goals, you can't. Why do I care about your opinion?
Mm,
You know what I'm
mhm.
saying?
Correct.
Like, I'm not gonna be out here ridiculous anyway. You know what I'm saying? That I gotta worry about my image or stuff like that. But it's like, why do I care about what you
Mhm.
think? So if I decide that I'm feeling sad, you know what I'm saying, I need to cry or something else or anything else, then on top of that, like I went in for a murder. I gave life and took life. What are we talking about? Like you gonna say something to me? Like I know what I'm capable of, so why do I care about what you think?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, throughout all of my situation and me coming home, God took care of things. I ain't have to rely. I'm not gonna say that I didn't have help from people because my mother's been there throughout the whole situation. What she could do, she did. Other family members, godmother, I've been blessed by people, but they couldn't do none of that for me. They couldn't do that time.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Some of them people wanted me to take a cop. I wouldn't have been out here right now talking to you. So it's like I know how I need to handle stuff. I got my relationship as far as my faith, and the rest of it is getting to it.
If you could design one program inside of every correctional facility, what would it be?
My right and freedom program. That's what I'm working on. And that consists of I have a guidebook called Do the Time, Don't Let the Time Do You. And I'm trying to get that in there. And that's just basically because I think some people go into the system with the wrong idea. Movies, television, whatever, maybe like, oh, you gotta do it like this, right? And you might end up running up some tickets, getting some more time if you got that, instead of working on yourself. And so I want that because they give you a handbook, you go into a jail or go into a prison, but it's not telling you how you should do your time or suggesting a right way. You got to kind of learn and figure that out. And then the turning adversity into advantage is a workbook that basically goes through various things in which a person have to like really question and figure out some stuff to work to prepare for their freedom. And like I said, I've been able to do this and write my freedom. So that's my whole thing is giving people the information that I have to hopefully help them that they come out here, be productive citizens.
For Inspiring World LLC, um, what do you want your ultimate accomplishment to be?
Um, Shoot, my ultimate accomplishment to be able to take what I have and pretty much just go international because we're the leading nation as far as incarceration, right?
Mhm.
So being able to make an impact here would be great, so that can turn that all over, make the prisons more rehabilitative, and then be able to help. Because a lot of times it's people that's incarcerated and came through poverty. They say 90% of crime comes from poverty. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of people in the world that deal with this. So if I could take that, and that's my goal, is to take that from here and go other places and be able to use that to where I can travel and show people just how they can use what they have to become better.
And you kind of answered my next question of what you would want your legacy to be, or what do you want to be remembered as when it's your time to go, and they gonna say, "This is my last word about him."
I'm gonna be like the common looking nigga knew what he was talking about. But nah, that's it, man. So going in, right, really got into reading my Bible a whole lot, right? And what was crazy is I've been in the church real heavy different points of my life. And so at one time, and this was coming out of DC jail, I was in there, doing everything. I was a junior steward in the AME church. I didn't know what a steward was. So when this, oh yeah, okay. So I learned what stewardship was in my incarceration, and that's basically just managing what God gives you. And so the parable of the talents always stick with me. So my job is to use what I have and multiply that, right? So that's just basically what I'm doing. I'm taking what I have and making sure that it grows. Like that's what I feel like everybody, I'm saying, is supposed to be doing is just being a stewardship of whatever they give them. And that's where I'm at.
What advice do you have for someone who feels trapped physically, mentally, or emotionally?
Pray. Like for real. It's one of them things with reflection, inflection is key. And I would definitely say in those times because I'm thinking about times that I was in that cell and I might be at night just in that composition book, just right now, whether it was what happened, wow, what happened, what led up to it, and just being honest with myself, writing it out, and then figuring out where I wanted to go from there.
Where can people find your books and learn more about Inspiring Word?
So the website is inspiring-word.us, and that has some of the books listed. The rest of them on Apple Books, Rakuten, Kobo, Barnes and Noble, everything but Amazon, because that's a whole nother story. They played with me. I would love to have that on there, but just got to figure that out. But every other platform, Smashwords, there's a bunch of other ones, because I went through this thing called Draft to Digital to help me self-publish my books, and they just listed on a bunch of stuff. So go up on the Apple Books or Barnes and Noble, put in J.S. Russell, and see what pops up. It'll probably be about 13 books now. So, and I'm still working on publishing the rest of them.
Okay. We always close on our show with words of wisdom. So, along with words of wisdom, we also want you to tell the people how they can follow you, find you on social media.
Okay. So what do I do first?
Yeah,
A word of
whichever one you
wisdom.
Whichever one you want to do first.
My word of wisdom is uh figure out wherever it is that you want to be in life. Write it out. Create that plan, and social media. JS Russell 56 on Instagram, JS Russell on YouTube, JS Russell on I guess it's Facebook, JS Russell 5 on TikTok. And I can't even remember the other one, but that'll get you everything.
You can go.
My go.
I know.
All
I
right. So my words of wisdom for this week is just please extend grace to your friends during this holiday season that are experiencing grief. Um y'all know that this is about to be year 3 without my mom. So Thanksgiving is always rough for me. Holidays is always rough for me anyway because her birthday Christmas Eve. But just extend grace to your friends that have experienced loss, especially loss of a parent during this time. Please charge it to our heads, not to our hearts. If we are a little distant or unresponsive, mean like not responding to y'all, like not like unresponsive. But but yeah, just extend some grace. Also November is the month of gratitude. So that's the theme for November. So just think about things to be grateful for, thankful for. I hope y'all enjoy y'all holiday weekend and y'all holiday. No shopping for Black Friday, Black people. We're not doing that this year. We're boycotting Black Friday. Don't make that face. But anyway, Enjoy your holiday, and yeah, always remember to live fearless.
She be killing me sometimes. My words of wisdom would have to be take time with yourself for yourself. Carve out time to make sure that you are giving the best version of yourself. During the holiday season, as she said, a lot of people who experience loss, or it's a time where a lot of people start grieving the loss that they have experienced. And so make sure that you take time for yourself and take time to check on others. We also want y'all to make sure y'all get a ticket for December the 6th.
Yes.
We are having the generational conversation. It is the men's turn, guys. The men's turn. So we want y'all to make sure y'all have some tickets. We're gonna have some vendors. And come and join us December 6th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. If you are a vendor and you're interested in being a part of that event, you can reach out to us on the podcast page or one of our individual Instagrams. I promise you, keep it business. Love y'all. Keep it business. That's all we discussing.
I don't never read those DMs, so hallelujah.
Yeah, keep it business. Even if you decide to reach out to the personal Instagram,
Yeah, don't come to my personal Instagram page with
I'm probably nicer than Fearless, but hey, that's neither here nor there. we are both nice when it's about business. So, well, we do want y'all to definitely be in attendance. We're looking forward to doing this show. If you did not see the women's panel, go back and watch that. It was in two parts. We had an amazing panel. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing y'all December the 6th. And it will be our season finale. That's how we're ending the season, celebrate holidays. So make sure y'all are in
mental
the
health
rip.
days. Hallelujah.
Yes, I need some mental health days right now, but that's neither here nor there. But thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate J.S. Russell for joining us in this amazing conversation. Make sure y'all follow him, get a book.
Read a book. Read a book.
Hey, I know a lot of y'all don't read, but please start reading in this season, please. But thank y'all for joining us, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.